Okay, so let's talk about one of the most powerful psychological traps out there. Seriously. It's the reason we get stuck in jobs we don't like, businesses that are failing, even relationships that we know deep down we should leave. It's a feeling we have all had, and it's so sneaky because it feels like logic. This is the sunk cost trap. You know how it starts, right? That little voice in your head kicks in. You start adding it all up, the weeks, the months, maybe even the years. All that time, it just feels so solid, like a huge down payment you can't just walk away from. And then, bam, here comes the second punch, the money. You remember the paychecks, the savings, the sacrifices you made. That money's gone. And the thought of getting zero return on it, it almost physically hurts. So you've got time on one side, money on the other, both just weighing you down. And this thought, this is the one that slams the door shut. This is what locks the trap. It's the grand finale of all that pressure building up. And let's be honest, it's not a logical thought. It's an emotional one. You keep going not because it's the smart move, but because stopping feels like admitting you failed. So how do we live with this feeling? Well, we build a case for it. We wrap it all up in what seems like perfectly sound reasoning. We basically create a logic trap for ourselves to convince ourselves that sticking with a bad plan is the only sensible thing to do. Let's use a super classic example. Say you buy a stock. You did your research, you feel good about it, but then the market starts to turn. It drops a little, then it drops a little more. Now you're at a crossroads. What do? And here is that fork in the road, psychologically speaking. If you sell, you make that loss real. You have to look at that red number on your statement. It's painful. But if you hold on, you get to live in hope. You get to avoid the sting of saying, I made a mistake. And guess what most of us do? We hold. Not because it's a great investment anymore, but just to avoid feeling that regret. And that impulse to just hold on isn't only about money. It happens everywhere. It's why we pour more resources into a business that's clearly failing. It's why we finish a 4-year degree we realized we hated in year 2. It's staying in a job or even a relationship way past its expiration date. The pattern is always the same, and the thought behind it is always, but I've already invested so much. So this mental trap, it actually has a name, and just knowing its name is the first step to beating it. Psychologists call it the sunk cost fallacy. So let's actually name our enemy and break down what it really is. A sunk cost is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's sunk. It's at the bottom of the ocean. It's gone. No matter what you do next, whether you keep going or you stop right now, you are never, ever getting that time or that money or that energy back. It's in the past. It's done. And this right here is the central puzzle. Logically, we all know that what's gone is gone. The only thing that should matter is what the best choice is for the future. So why is there this massive canyon between what's rational and what we actually, do? Well, the answer is hardwired into us. Our brains are designed to avoid pain. So in these moments, your brain isn't thinking about the best long-term strategy. It's just trying to protect you from the awful feeling of failure, the sting of regret, and that gut-wrenching sense that all your effort was a total waste. Continuing feels like the easiest way to keep all those bad feelings away. But, of course, staying the course has a cost of its own. And the great irony here is that trying to avoid a past loss just leads to piling up bigger and bigger future losses. It's a cost that literally compounds on itself. And here is the really brutal truth about this whole thing. The sunk cost fallacy isn't just a single bad decision. It's a system for making bad decisions over and over again. Think about it. Every extra day, every extra dollar you pour into something that isn't working, that's not recovering your past investment. No, that's a brand new loss. You're just throwing good money after bad. So you end up in this really dangerous feedback loop. The more you put in, the more you stand to lose. And the more you stand to lose, the more committed you feel, right? Your own past actions become the justification for doubling down again. And this goes on until you reach a point where the sheer weight of everything you've already put in is so massive that the idea of walking away feels completely impossible, even when, logically, it is the absolute smartest thing you could possibly do. Okay, so How do you get out? How do you break free from this? Well, escaping this trap isn't about having more willpower. It's about fundamentally shifting your perspective. You need a new set of mental tools. So here are 3 really practical steps. First, you have to separate the past from the future. Just ask yourself this one simple question. Knowing what I know right now, if I was starting from 0 today, would I make this investment? If the answer is no, then you have your answer. Second, set your exit rules early. Before you even start a project, decide what failure will look like. That way, you make the call with a clear head, not when you're emotional. And third, and this is so important, you have to reframe what quitting even means. This right here is the biggest mindset shift you can make. Quitting is not failure. It's a strategic reallocation of your most precious assets, your time, your money, your energy. You're taking them away from something that's a losing bet and freeing them up for a better opportunity. It is an incredibly intelligent move.
Because the real damage, the truly massive losses, they don't come from the first mistake. They come from the stubborn refusal to admit we made one. Every single minute you keep going down the wrong path is a new cost, a fresh loss.
When you get right down to it, the people who are truly successful aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who have the courage to see when something isn't working and the wisdom to let it go. So just remember that sometimes the bravest, wisest, and smartest thing you can possibly do is just stop.